Good evening, Council and Mayor. I'm sure that you're probably glad that this will be the last time you will see this document. It will still be coming before you as we update it, but I've been working on this for 18 months now. So I'm very excited to receive your blessing to move forward on it tonight and to actually implement the plan and put it into place. So I thought it only fitting that I prepare a little PowerPoint for you. As I said, we've been working on this plan for 18 months. It's a transition plan for pedestrian facilities in the public right-of-way, and this is just telling you what the regulations are. It falls under Title II, Article 8, and there are certain items that have to be within that plan in order for it to meet all the requirements. We've discussed these with you many times, but I'm going to break this down into kind of three little sections that we've went through as we've developed the plan. A little bit of history and overview, the data that we've collected, and then the legal requirements, and then actually putting it into effect through implementation. Okay, this document was written through a collaboration of the Administration Department and also Public Works Department. And the purpose, as you know, is to assure that all of our facilities in the public right-of-way are listed and that we're on a path to make them ADA compliant, especially for those people with disabilities. And so we've been basically working on this process for several years, but we did not have an official written plan. In the plan, we have identified barriers, and we are prioritizing the improvements and a process that will take us through long-term commitment through an evaluation process to bring us into compliance. That could take several years, but it will always be a goal that we'll be working toward. The plan has some new policies that we developed throughout the process, and then we've also enhanced some of the programs that were already in place. And one of the key projects that you'll probably see that are going on right now out there is McCall Classic Construction is putting in pedestrian curb ramps throughout town. Started, I think, last Thursday or Friday. So, since 2012, from 2000 to 2012, we have put in 84,000 linear feet of sidewalk, 4,100 linear feet of pathway, and 400 pedestrian ramps. And we have some large numbers, too, since then, but I didn't put everything up on the slide. I just thought that was a good one for the public to know how hard we've been working to bring things into compliance. There are two different types of evaluations in the document, and the preliminary evaluation is a visual or an aerial view or what the engineering department call a cognizant review of just looking at a pedestrian curb ramp or a sidewalk and knowing that it's not compliant. Then it moves forward onto the detailed evaluation list. So everything that we've done since is now on a final list, and we'll go through a process of continuing this evaluations through 2017 for preliminary, and then we'll move forward. It'll take us probably till 2022 to complete the full evaluation.
Oops.
What did I do?
You killed it.
There we go. This doesn't like me. We have collected a lot of data, and we've had 3 public meetings. The plan itself was on the website for 120 plus days. So if anyone has public comment now, it's too late. We're not taking it now. And I will say,
I hope nobody arrived and waited all this evening to comment on this one.
I received a Councilman Steed's blessing last week, so I knew that there probably was nothing else left to say. This is kind of a number that we have put together. The engineering actually developed this number. If we were to complete all of our compliance work, it would be $24,305,000. Those are 2013 estimates, and as we move forward, we anticipate an inflation increase of 3 to 5%. And I just want to make note here that that's not something the city's ever going to be able to afford for many, many years. But the purpose of the plan is that we continue to work toward this. And if we have a citizen who lives in a certain area and they need accessibility that they don't have, we work through the prioritization process and the evaluation criteria. But no matter what, we'll do the best we can to make accommodation for whoever needs it, whether it be we assist in public transportation or we help find an alternate route. There's always going to be problems in the winter, and we're aware of those. And in fact, throughout the public comment process, we really had no requests for changes in the plan. It was basically people sharing about the difficulties they have during the bad weather getting around town. And but a lot of them aren't aware of some of the different programs we have available, and so we've been able to help most everyone that has brought anything forth to us. Previously, last July, we named our ADA coordinator, which is our city clerk, Stephanie Claus, and we adopted a grievance complaint procedure. In order to move forward, when we looked and researched into this, we wanted to be able to have a method that someone could make a request to us that wasn't in the form of a grievance or a complaint, just that they were requesting accommodation. So we have a form that's also available for the public to use, and it's called a request for reasonable accommodation. And if you know of somebody that's having a problem getting around, there's a sidewalk missing or whatever it might be, this form will be available on our website, and we encourage people to use that. And we would really like to be able to resolve any issues through this process rather than having to go through a complaint or a grievance procedure. So tonight, we bring forth to you a new resolution that adopts the ADA 2010 standards for accessible design. Federal Highways has not approved their final draft of this, so we're actually adopting their draft version. We were hoping that it would be ready by now, but it's not. So that is one of the resolutions that you saw in your packet tonight. And then once we have that resolution adopted, we can go ahead and move forward with adoption of this plan itself. And as I discussed with the council and committee last week, it will be a living document. I'm already aware that we have some updates to make to it, but I wanted to go ahead and get this part done. We'll be evaluating the public transit bus stop locations. We have some things that we need to put on our list there. And so we're moving forward tonight. And I just wanted to remind the council that, and the public also, that we'll make any reasonable effort to improve accessibility for anybody that needs it. Regardless of why or where, we'll do what we can to help them. There's going to be times, though, when we won't be able to make it perfect. 6th Street Hill is a good example of that. There's no way that we're ever going to be able to make 6th Street Hill any different because of the topography. We can do our best, but we can assist people in finding a different route or provide public transit, do something to get them where they need to be. So there's always a way to do it, and I know that our council members are always supportive of staff in helping the citizens get their needs met through accommodations. So that will be the plan that we will work with as we implement and move forward with this.
And Alyssa, you had mentioned, this is a working process. It's going to be a period of time. It's going to take us a while. It's going to be an ongoing event that we're going to be working on. But we're going to be diligently working on it as we can go and as we can afford it, and to make things right, correct? I mean, that's how we're headed. Exactly. And,
I think at this point you'll see it come back to you probably every 2 years. We'll have enough updates. But we'll continue to keep the lists of projects updated for, things that have grant funding that we know are coming in the next 2 to 3 years. We have projects usually from the Idaho Transportation Department that are scheduled for funding 3 years out. So those will be on our list. And someone may have a question about a certain location, and we know that, we have funding to improve that area coming up. And so we'll continually update those lists and the project schedules.
Okay. Tom, this was on the administrative committee.
It was. We reviewed it and unanimously moved it on forward. I'm prepared to make a motion.
Well, before you do that, why don't I ask Dan, because he was in Public Works and Finance, chaired that, so...
Yeah, we had the same thing as we went ahead and unanimously approved it. Like Elisa said, this is an evolving document, and as she mentioned, we've seen it several times, and still it's the draft form, and we'll see a final one at some point that we'll need to update again. So, I mean, it's, what this is we have to do this in order to stay eligible for, ITD and federal grants. So, whatever we have to do to keep that going, we'll keep going. So.
Tom, you got the floor.
Okay, thanks. Well, I'd like to make a motion that we adopt the ADA 2010 standards for accessible design and the July 26, 2011 draft version of the ADA proposed accessibility guidelines for pedestrian facilities in the public right-of-way through approval and execution of Resolution 2014-09 on Exhibit C, page C11 of the transition plan that's attached within our packet.
Second.
Okay. Tom made the motion to adopt A. You got that, Stephanie, word for word, and John Weber seconded. Any discussion before I call for a roll? I'll start with you, Arthur.
Aye.
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 Okay, Resolution A, Resolution 2014-08, Exhibit C, page C11 of the attached transition plan is what we just approved. So we'll move on.
I'd like to make a motion
Okay, Dan?
that we adopt the Americans with Disability Act transition plan for pedestrian facilities in the public right-of-way, approving the next resolution, which is the next page of our document there. And I guess that would be 2014-10.
I'd second that.
Okay, Dan made a motion to adopt the American Disability Act. It is number B on our agenda here for everybody. And Tom seconded that motion. Discussion before I call for a roll. I will start with John.
Aye.
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 Okay, so we just passed resolution number 2014-10, Exhibit C, page C, 12 and 13 of the attached transition plan. You have that, Stephanie? Mm-hmm. Okay.
And once we get $24 million, we've got a plan to spend it.
Just an easy thing. Gary?
Your Honor, I just want to acknowledge all the work that Elisa's done on this. It was something that typically your grants manager wouldn't be tasked with, but she knew more about it than the rest of us did, and did a great job over the last 18 months putting this together. It's obviously a huge undertaking, and with Stephanie's help as being our ADA coordinator, we should move ahead in a pretty healthy fashion.
Very good.
Way to go. Thanks.
Thank you, Lisa. Thanks
I won't
for
do
a
my
great
happy
job.
dance for you right now, but I'm doing it inside. So.